which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our new show series, Islamic Law Today. And we are honored to have with us Professor Muhammad Naem Asaee, the professor in several Islamic universities in America and a permanent member in the Fatwa Committee in North America. Thank you for being with us. The main concept of this show is that we're going to talk, inshallah, about the Islamic law in general, the main topics. It's not a fatwa program. You can share with us your thoughts, your ideas, and you can communicate with us through emails. You can write to us at islamiclawtoday@huda.tv, or you can call us at 002-0238 555 248 or 249. Inshallah, we will get your calls in the second and the third segment, and we will answer your questions and your thoughts, inshallah, in these two segments. Before we start, we need to ask Professor Muhammad Naem Asaee about the concept of this show. Why now we need to talk about the Islamic law, especially that you chose this title, Islamic Law Today, and what is the concept behind this topic and behind this show?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma ij'al a'malana wa niyatina wa aqwalina kullaha khalisatan li wajhika al-karim bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Amma ba'd. I chose this title of this program for many reasons. Maybe the most important reason for me, and maybe many people they share me in this thought, because Islamic law today has been absent, most likely, in a practical life, misunderstood, misconceptions about our Islamic law, and very normal and maybe natural when you talk about Islamic law, you are talking about the Sharia in Islam. This term has become very dislikable term to the mind of many people in the West, and has become very strange to many people in their mind, even in the East. Muslims all around the world, they are not in that level of understanding their Islamic law the way it should be. And let's say one time there's many measurement you could bring to the surface of analyzing the Muslim Ummah situation to measure its position, to measure its rank and level according to the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala standard and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One of these measurement to look at the Muslim Ummah scholars, and specifically the fuqaha, jurist, the Islamic law specialist, and to look at the life of the Muslim Ummah in the field of the application of their Islam and their religion. The other measurement is to see how much the Muslim Ummah, they know about their Islamic rules regarding their daily life, the relationship between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the relationship between them and others, and how much they know about the philosophy of their Islam, their religion, their Islamic law, and how much they are practicing the center and the spirit of these Islamic law rules. You will see Muslims praying and fasting and performing pilgrimage, going to Makkah al-Mukarramah. You can see people selling and buying and getting married, divorcing. You can see Muslims all around the world, they are making some kind of power of attorney to someone to act on behalf of them. You can see Muslims sometimes talking about the concept of jihad in a very ugly way. In most cases, they don't want even to talk about this issue. You can see Muslims in our modern time, they are different thought and different maybe ideologies regarding the applications of this Islamic law. Many of them, if not say most of them, they don't like to see it at our moment, at our modern time. Many propagandas being played around the Islamic law. Many kind of brainwash being took a place in the Muslims thought and schools, universities, institute to make the Islamic law, as I said in the beginnings, as not a welcome term.
Yes.
And to make that term bring some kind of reservations. So it is maybe the best time to talk about our Islamic law, especially when we are seeing a lot of big events taking place in our life right now.
Yes, that will open the subject now. I've read that in Tennessee, in the United States of America, there is a congressman that wants to pass a bill. Basically, if any Muslim apply the Sharia law, it's like he's committing a felony. Now, do you think this bill is based on ignorancy, like they are ignorant about the Sharia law, they don't know what is Sharia law? Or it's our mistake as Muslims that we did not clarify what is Sharia law? If you please can give us some examples. I just want to give an example of the things that they will make it outlaw. Like if someone make a wudu, a purification in a public place, that will be considered Sharia. He's applying the Sharia, therefore he's committing a felony. Whose mistake is this? Is it our mistake or their mistake?
Subhanallah, this incident does reflect many things, and you could analyze this kind of notion by these maybe senators or governor or some other people by taking in your consideration the factors of having something to happen in our modern time. Even Muslims in America, United States of America, they are not a little numbers. They are in millions.
Yes.
And Muslims in America, they are not just only workers. They are not low-level educated people. We have physicians, we have engineers, we have very big merchants. They are everywhere. And we don't have just to name some of these big shots in the United States of America, as Farouk al-Baz and Dr. Zawel.
And they are very rich as well.
They are very famous, very advanced people, and the United States of America is admitting the impact of many Muslims immigrant to its soil, how much they are affected in their life from maybe political point of view, economical point of view, social, educational, academic. It is something to be considered. But now to come with this kind of contradiction between what we have as a Muslims in the United States of America and after all this media does not make any chance or maybe excuse for someone to say, I don't know that much about Islam. So I could analyze this and conclude by saying it is many factors. One of these, Muslims are not working very hard to present their Islam and to market for their Islam like others. And it is maybe has become part of our culture as a backward ummah in this modern time. We don't want to spend too much in marketing for our good, for our product. It's like become a very fundamental in the Western ideology to market for your product that you have to spend maybe 40% of your budget to make this product to be acceptable and to take its right place in the market. So which is bigger and larger and maybe high in its level and its maybe impact in our life as a human beings, to sell like Nokia phone or maybe to TV or maybe some other product, or to sell your product as the key of your happiness here in this life and your safety and security in hereafter, which is Al-Islam. So that reflect this kind of attitude in the Muslims' mind in these modern days. Other things we don't have to elaborate on how much others they are making some maybe negative propaganda about Islam. We don't have the same tool, the same mean to face this propaganda through the media. Yes. Muslim media are the weakest in the United States of America. Maybe you can say that they don't have even a considerable media in the United States of America just to stand against this kind of negative propaganda. Maybe we have some other maybe strong media facilities or thought or means in Arab countries, maybe like Al Jazeera or maybe Al Arabiya or something like this. But this not is specialized channels to defend Islam and to bring to the Western mind what is the reality about Islamic law. So it's at the end, it's our mission, it's our job, it's our duties.
But don't you think sometimes that the da'iyah or the one who is making the call to Islam in the United States or everywhere else, he will have a very hard job, because basically in the few weeks that passed, we heard many times in different countries, for example from Egypt, from Libya, the leaders, they said if we let this revolution succeed, they will establish the Islamic law, and they are trying to scare the world to do not support these revolutions, because if they succeed, if they support these revolutions, basically what they are trying to scare the West, that the Islamic law will be applied. So can you imagine if this message is coming out of a Muslim leader to the non-Muslim world? Of course I would give them the excuse to be scared of the Sharia law. Don't you agree with me?
Yes, 100%. So that we have to say it is not the role or the duties or principles of responsibilities of those, I call them sometimes the fake representative for Islam. I'm not talking about their role as political leaders. This is something different issue. I'm just talking about someone to be qualified and eligible to talk on behalf of Islam. They cannot talk about Islam or on behalf of Muslims, religion and faith and Islamic law. This is the role of the whole Muslim Ummah, but specifically the role of Muslim scholars. This is our duty, our responsibilities. And I choose this program specifically because I did find that Muslim scholars, especially in the field of Islamic law, they are not the same. Where we find this role in different image, in different concept, in different maybe impact and effect in the gold days of Muslim history. As I said before the program, we used to have Muslims, scholars and Grand Mufti that they call it at that time, Shaykh al-Islam in the Ottoman Empire, or maybe Shaykh al-Azhar in the time of royal monarchy in Egypt or some other maybe place in the Muslim world. If the Muslim scholar or the Grand Mufti will issue a single fatwa regarding any event, especially important event that's taken place in the country, that the king or the caliph, he cannot pass it, he cannot disregard it, he cannot ignore it. He has to prepare his political decisions based on this fatwa, because Islam was strong in the mind of its people first, was very strong and respectable in the action and the work and practice of their and its Muslim scholars, and especially jurists, Muslims at that time. So that reflects on ourselves right now, how much we are thirsty to see the role of Muslim scholars to come back again, how much we are hungry to see Muslims' mind as ordinary people to try to understand their Islam. Because if you are not able to evaluate what you have, you cannot represent it to others, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, if you are carrying like a diamond, but you are not aware about the value of this diamond, you cannot represent it in the right way.
This is correct. We will go for a quick break. Please stay with us. We have more to say.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Do you have questions that bother you? What about issues of concern to you? Would you like to share things on your mind with us? Are you interested in solutions based on an Islamic perspective? Please join me live in Meet Your Advisor every Friday at 9 p.m. Mecca time, here on Huda TV.
Tomorrow on Huda.
How to be proactive in Islam, how to serve our religion, how to serve our life.
No, we want them to be proactive in matters that are related to their ummah, the true leader. And this is maybe we need to have this, okay, among us as Muslims. The true leader is the one who creates leaders.
So the society at the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gave the chance for the children to blossom.
Now who took the reward of this? The initiative of Ali bin Abi Talib. Ali bin Abi Talib took the reward because of his initiative.
How long have you been passive? How much time have you lost in your life because of negativity? Learn how to take conscious control over your life. Set your goals and work to achieve them in an Islamic way.
If you really love your wife, your children, your parents, your people, then you have to do your utmost. You have to do whatever you can in order to invite them to Islam. We are in need for these reminders. The main point is ikhlas, is sincerity, is what I want to get in the hereafter.
Join Sheikh Haytham Al-Haddad and his host, Muhammad Abdurrahim, in this inspiring show.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Welcome back. Professor Muhammad, we were talking about, before we went to the break, we were talking about the reasons why you chose this title of this program, Islamic Law Today. Would you please continue your thought?
Yes. One of the other things is very important that pushed me very hard to choose this program and put that title, Islamic Law Today. That after studying the history of Muslims dealing with their Islamic law and studying the Islamic understanding, or you could say the Islamic thought, I found that it's very big tragedy happened in the Muslim history, in the modern Muslim history, and it did occupy the Muslim's mind for more than maybe 40 or 50 or 60 years. And this tragedy, I just put it under the title of the hijacking of Islamic thought. Hijacking of the Islamic thought. And maybe from that term, put it like a terminology now, we talk about this issue, you could understand why would it see radicalism or fanatic Muslims called by many people. Why would it see Muslims killing Muslims? Why is it seeing Muslims legalizing to see the bloodshed against their own maybe brothers Muslims, or maybe against some other people from reforming by its own mind the Islamic rules or the Islamic law? Because the Islamic thought, Islamic understanding should be based on Islamic law first, as if that you are saying the Islamic thought or understanding is the result, the fruit, the impact of the Islamic law rules. So if you are understanding exactly what the Islamic law stands in this specific issue, you could create your thought about how Islam does look at this issue from Islamic law point of view, and you could go to the others and explain the Islamic opinion through your understanding of the Islamic law, and then you have the creation of the Islamic thought understanding. So if you talk about like jihad, an example, if you don't understand what Islamic law rules in this issue, how could you create and form Islamic thought about jihad? If you are not understanding the Islamic rules about niqab or hijab, according to the Islamic jurists, Muslim scholars, how could you create and form your Islamic thought about this issue? If you are not understanding the Islamic rules about maybe the plastic surgeries regarding Muslims women in these days, how could you give an idea or the impression of Islamic thought about this very important issue? So every big issue in Islam based on Islamic law rules does have as an impact, as a result, Islamic thought understanding. What happened, unfortunately, with the absence of Muslim scholars, for many reasons, sometimes they are absent because of their very weak understanding to their role. Sometimes they've been pushed to be away from the theater of life, but as a result, there is absence of Muslim scholars, 40, 60 years, so the field was empty. There is a vacuum. And who was able to fill that vacuum? And I could give the excuse for many Muslims, thinkers, Muslims maybe du'at, they found that they have to do something to their Islam. So you could see the creation, the forming of Islamic parties, like Muslim Brotherhoods and some other maybe Islamic parties. They found that they have to do something for this deen, and especially after the British colony and French colony and Italian colonies, Muslim scholars, they did not do the same role they supposed to do. So they found that they have to do something. They start to make some kind of strategic work for Muslims ummah by presenting some ideas, some thoughts from their own belief, their own philosophies about Islam. So they come up with some kind of ideology, some kind of thought. They call it Islamic understanding. But it should not be happen this way. It should happen the original way. Muslim scholars to stand up and to analyze the issues from Islamic point of view, Islamic law point of view, and they make the ummah understand what is the Islamic law rules in this issue, and then they make some kind of formulation to the Islamic thought, so people they could take this Islamic understanding and put it in a practice in their modern life. So one of the most important things because of this program, I would like to make it as a step toward the revival of this deen, as a step, inshallah ta'ala, for the renewal for this deen. And you cannot renew this deen or revive this deen unless you bring back the Islamic understanding, the real one, the pure one, the most authentic one to the Muslim mind, by bringing the Muslim scholars again back to the theater of this life and let them talk about the issue of like singing or songs or maybe musical instrument or niqab or hijab, plastic surgeries, Islamic political parties, how to go over
democracy.
Democracy, what the freedom concept or definition in Islam, many things. It's big issues. Would like to bring back this Islamic original understanding through the Islamic law, so we make Muslims, inshallah ta'ala, able to take their issue to their life and be able to understand their Islam the right way, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah. But what you said, I don't want to go out of the topic, but it's like pulled the trigger in my mind about something. You kept saying the Muslim scholars and the absence of the Muslim scholars in the past 60 or 40 years. But some people who hijacked this Islamic law or hijacked the religion, they claim that they do this according to the explanation of some scholars. So if you please explain to the viewers, who should be the Islamic scholar? What is the characteristic of a Muslim scholar to take from? Because honestly, people are confused. They see someone who with long beard and can speak Arabic, so here's a Muslim scholar. He can say whatever he wants, and he's on TV or things like that. What is the characteristic that we should make a filtration and say, this man is a scholar, this man is not a scholar, I'm not going to listen to him?
Well, first of all, we are not here to take the opportunity of having this program to accuse our Muslim scholars. We respect all of them. Those who they passed away, those they are still alive. Any Muslim scholars in the Muslim history, we should give him his respect. And
Definitely.
We do that, alhamdulillah.
Definitely. Yeah.
And we say, rahimahullah ta'ala, we are just little if we are comparing ourselves with them. It's just a very humble call to someone who sees them bigger than that. For someone to see our Muslim scholars, they are more qualified for maybe bigger and more honorable mission in their life. So this is our purpose of talking about Muslim scholars. Not to put them down, but to lift them up to their real position, to their real role in our life, inshallah ta'ala. Second, Muslim scholars, if you say that this Muslim scholar, he should be a free man. Because Islam is the master of freedom. You cannot imagine that a Muslim scholar who's belonging to some maybe prepared ideologies or thought to be free in his knowledge or the information he's got to give the public. But Muslim scholars in our Muslim history, when they were able to change, be able to be mujaddid, the revival and the renewer of our Muslim deen, they were always free. They are belong only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we talk about Muslim ummah, they have different maybe parties and groups and ideologies. They are belong to this ummah only. They are not belong to any parties. So when they think, when they talk, when they give fatwa, they are seeing the whole ummah waiting for them to give what does suit their position, their questions, their event, their need, their dreams, their hopes, their pains. They are talking on behalf of this ummah because they feel it and they are part of this ummah. I don't want to see Muslim scholars to talk about this ummah, but they are putting themselves away in the corner in a very maybe special status. They cannot feel the pain of the Muslim ummah, or they are maybe talking in double standard way. I would like to see Muslim scholars to come back, inshallah ta'ala, to their roles as the leaders of this ummah, as the very advanced people. They are seeing what is waiting for this ummah to be happened. They are preparing themselves, the Muslim scholars, to create and make the event, not to be the reaction of the event, or to be like a part of someone making them part of it. This is when you talk about Imam al-Nawawi rahmatullah alayh, Al-Azm Abd al-Salam rahimahullah ta'ala, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah alayh. All these big Muslim scholars in the Muslim Ummah, they are at that time making the event. And the whole Ummah was behind them, because they could see that their honesty, their sincerity, their authenticity. And they are behind them because they feel that they are the good representative for them. I would like to see our Muslim scholars to come back again. We have, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Some of these scholars, they are still existing. And that's why, because always say that, always we feel good, we are optimistic about the future of this ummah, inshaAllah ta'ala, because this ummah is very rich in everything, inshaAllah ta'ala.
Inshallah, Rabbil Alameen. We have a call from Brother Abdullah from Egypt. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, brother. I'd like to thank you and thank Dr. Muhammad for this wonderful show. Actually, we are in need of this sort of shows to have to practice them on their life. Brother, I'd like also to thank Sheikh for the, really nowadays we are in dire need of those scholars who can lead the Ummah and take the initiative, because especially these calamities that we suffer from now in Egypt and most of Middle East. My question is that I'd like to know the doctor's opinion about those scholars who say some sorts of fatwas are confined to people in a certain area, for example in the West, and may not be applied to people in other places all over the world.
No.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Well, this question, I think, regarding of the fiqh issues, if you go in some specific issues, Islamic law issues, maybe our topic today is different, but I will just answer the question very briefly and quickly, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
According to our Islamic law, rules, qawaid, fundamental rules in Islamic law, the issue is not based on where you are, where you live, how old are you, what kind of background you have, what language you speak. It depends based on the situation and the concept and the circumstance of the issue you are asking about. Sometimes you find Islamic law issues happens in the West that have a similar answers to what is going on in the East.
Yes.
Sometimes you find like an issue in the East taking place does have different answers than the thing take place in the West. Not because West and East, but because the circumstances of this issue does have different application to it, because of the key of applying the Islamic law rule to that issue is different. So I have to say that again and again, inshallah, because this is a very important issue. We are not in the position to say that Islamic rules will be changed from time to time, from place to place. No, the fundamental issues in Islamic law is permanent, is stable, very solid, but we have in our Islamic law a very flexible rules to make the Islamic law able to live with the event and to be able to accommodate with everything is going on in our life, whether we are living in the East or living in the West. Just an example here. When you say that selling wine, selling alcoholic drinks does not have any difference according to most Muslim scholars if you are living in the East or the West. You cannot sell harmful things to others, either you are living in the Cairo or living in London.
This is true.
And we'll come short to the issue of this kind of
Inshallah.
Very important one going on the West, inshallah ta'ala, when we talk about some other important issue in our maybe coming
Inshallah.
program,
We have a caller from Egypt, Brother Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I want to just ask about the topic you are just discussing. How can Islam be flexible and the truth is always one? Because a lot of people say when the Qur'an is one and the verses of the Qur'an has one meaning or has one understanding because the truth is one. So how can we compromise with being flexible and at the same time we have only one truth? Jazakumullah khairan.
Wa iyyakum. This is a really good question.
Yes. Well, what we have to say in this regard that Islamic law, as we said in our program, philosophy of Islamic law, does have two sections. Section of ibadat, organize your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Section of mu'amalat, organize your relationship with others. And in these two sections, we have other two sections where Muslim scholars, they have unanimously agreed on some issues. We call it the fundamental issues in Islam, al-usul. Usul in ibadat, usul in mu'amalat. The fundamental issues, how to pray, how to fast, how to perform hajj. The fundamental issues about how to sell, how to buy, how to get married, how to make jihad. Fundamental issues is like the mothers of the whole Islamic law issues. Unanimously agreed among Muslims because of many proven and evidence. And we have other section, they call it the branches, coming as an impact of these fundamental issues. And this is another feed, another maybe circle in our Islamic law that have this kind of flexibility and ability for Muslim scholars to choose among all these Muslim scholars' differences, different opinions, to pick up what does fit this case or that situation or this status or maybe this issue. But you will be wonder if you hear me saying that even the first section where they had a fundamental issue, sometimes the fundamental issue in Islamic law does not have what does make it valid or applicable in a maybe better term, to make it applicable to our maybe certain time, like at the time of Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab, when he stopped, applying the issue of cutting the hand of the thief, because he said that in our time we have a tragedy, we have a mutual poverty and hunger going on the whole around the area. So if we apply the issue of cutting the hand, that means we are applying the issue without just applicable firm or maybe fairness of these applications. We have idra al-hudud bil-shubahat, wherever you have something to take that punishment away from that person in a very considerable Islamic law issue, you try to avoid doing that. So Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab, even a fundamental issue in our Islamic law section, he said does not have the key of its application right now. So you're going to stop applying it till we bring back or have back its key to its applications. So that's why we say that in many occasions when we try to call for application of the Sharia, maybe inshallah we'll talk about this in some details inshallah.
Inshallah. We will go for a quick break. Please stay with us, and you can share your thoughts if you call us at 202 238 555 248. Thank you very much, and stay tuned.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
In your standpoint of view, are there specific or certain criteria to choose your spouse or a partner, to marry or not to marry? Maybe that's the question. Do we revise the quality of performance of our treatment between the family members as fathers or mothers? As they say usually, it's not what you say, it's how would you say it. Wouldn't you like to be a good storyteller for your kids? Neurobiologically speaking, child abuse and emotional trauma causes scars in the brain of the child, and this might be not easily healing. What's the exact job description of a father? Is it clothing, payments and feeding, or other important things? Well, I think the job description of a father is merely giving him love and care, self-confidence, giving him sense of security, and checking for the points of strength to stress on them. What about potty training and its planning? Oh yeah, actually, it's a state, it's a condition. Fatherhood is not a body or a person, it's a state. Are you a good or skillful designer for the policy and the long-term plans of the life of your kids, join us every Wednesday for Family Issues.
Dear viewers, Hoda programs can be watched in the English section of the in-flight entertainment directory on board all Saudi airline flights, domestic and international. Sit back, relax and enjoy watching Hoda's entertaining and enlightening shows on your trip. Hoda wishes you a safe and successful journey. Hoda, a light in every home.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high.
Welcome back to our show Islamic Law Today. You can communicate with us through email islamiclawtoday@huda.tv. You can share with us your thoughts, your ideas, and your questions as well, and inshallah we'll answer to it. Professor Muhammad, before we went to the break, the questioner was asking about the flexibility of fatwas and the flexibility of the Islamic law. Would you please continue this topic, because it was a very important question.
Yeah. Yes, we said that as we say that we have a permanent system for human being, life here and hereafter, and that comes through our Islamic law in all its sections. But one of the things that make our Islamic law very special and very superior, its ability to deal with any modern issues according to its fundamental rules, fundamental basics, fundamental thought, fundamental philosophies. One of these flexibility that's come from, as we said before the break, from the section of different opinions among Muslim scholars. We are not in the stage to talk about why we have the second section. We'll talk about this in a specific program, inshallah ta'ala, or maybe episode. One of these does come from the application of these rules when it does not have the key of its application, as we bring the example of Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab in his time. I did write a very comprehensive rule about this issue in my book, Al-Jami' fi al-Qawa'id wa Dawabit al-Fiqhiyya. I'm encouraging everyone to have this book. It's not like commercial for this book, but just relating with this program, inshallah ta'ala. You will find that how we understand our Islamic law from the point of its permanent system and is very flexible in the same time. How to combine between this kind of as if eternal system we have, and how we have this flexibility in the same time.
Yes.
Inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah. We have a caller, Ali, from Egypt.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'd like to thank you and thank Dr. Muhammad Naem Asaee. Thank you, Doctor, for all you do. Actually, this is a very important show because for years we are seeking for real pure understanding for Islamic law. Sheikh, my question is, which book we can read to increase our knowledge in this field? Can you guide this?
Which book we can read? Would you please repeat the question again?
Yeah, which book we can read to increase our knowledge in the field of Islamic law?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Inshallah ta'ala, when we talk about the Islamic law thought, like al-madhahib al-fiqhiyya, Islamic law thought, al-Hanafiyya, wal-Shafi'iyya, wal-Malikiyya, wal-Hanafi. This is like a four school of thought. We'll be able very gladly to have him in our modern time. We know as a fact, we have many Islamic thought. We have many Muslim scholars, they have the same methodology, bringing the Islamic law issues, the unanimous one and where they have differences. More than 250 Muslim scholars in the first 4 centuries. But subhanAllah, Allah Ta'ala, by His will and His wisdom, we have only these 4, and we have the Ibadiyya school of thought, we have the Zaydiyya school of thought, we have like 6, and we have the Zahiriyya school of thought. Like we have 7 remain among all maybe 250 school of thought a long time ago. We'll talk about this issue. We'll talk about the reasons of this and how to learn fiqh. His question is very important questions. It's a very urgent need for Muslims in this world, in this time, to know how to increase their Islamic law knowledge.
Is it a must?
It is a must in some extent to know how to pray, to know how to fast, to know how to sell or buy, to know how to get married. Even if you like to divorce your wife, we have a problem. We have tragedies in our Muslim families because we don't know how to divorce. We know how to get married, but we don't know how to divorce. We know how to be a master, but we don't have to be the servant of our servant. We know how to maybe eat and drink, but we don't know how to feed maybe poor people. So we have to learn about some Islamic law issues like a must. It's a fundamental need for Muslims in general. But in some other areas, we need to have scholars. We need to have a very educated people in Islamic law to be the representative of these Muslims, ummah, to be representative of the Islamic law, to be the leaders of this ummah, taking it to the shore of peace and happiness, and more than that, the shore of the pleasant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the issue right now? If you see like event happening right now, and you see people are analyzing this issue, you could see like political analysis, right? You see like social analysis. You see like from psychiatrists analyzing this issue. But when it comes to the Islamic law analysis, it's very poor, very weak. Sometimes you cannot see them analyzing the issue. One of the important goals of this program, to bring back the Islamic law to its level, to its rank, to its place, to its status, and let the Muslim scholars analyze issues and events. After understand the issue, they analyze it. After they analyze this issue, they put the solution to it. After they put the solution to it, they call upon the ummah. This is our understanding as a Muslim scholars. This is our analyzation to this issue and event. This is our solution. Now it's our work together as a Muslim scholars and the whole Muslim ummah to work and practice this solution. And we cannot maybe finish talking about any event happening right now. Maybe that will be in the coming episode.
Inshallah. We have 2 callers. We have Ibrahim from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. First of all, I'd like to thank Huda TV for this program and all new programs. Second, I'd like to say, as we know, Islamic law is valid for any time and place. This is a great statement. But my question is, how can we convince or persuade people of that statement? How can we persuade them that Islamic law is valid for any time and place? Thank you so much.
MashaAllah. Very good question. And the other caller, Muhammad, brother Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
From Egypt. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
How are you, bro?
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Really, I congratulate you for this program. Really, I think it is a revolution in Huda TV to get some knowledge from you and from Sheikh Dr. Muhammad Naem Asaee. Thank you for all the team. Thank you for Huda TV. And inshallah, I've got a good follower for this program, inshallah, in the future.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. So we need to answer the question of Brother Ibrahim.
Yes, the answer for Brother Ibrahim, Jazakallah khairan, is to follow up our episode, inshallah ta'ala. This is one of the main goal of this program. How to convince, first of all, ourselves.
Yes.
And then others. We say all the time that we are a Muslim ummah. We are the ummah of da'wah. We are ummah of hospitality, diyafa. Because we have very, very expensive, very valuable things Allah has given us, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We'd like to convince ourselves first, as a Muslim ummah, that we have a very valid, very valuable system in life, is the system Allah has created to fit what Allah created is a human being, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then to convince others that we are able, inshallah ta'ala, to present this special gift to them, inshallah azza wa jal.
Inshallah. We have a caller, Aisha from the United Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Go ahead, the sister, with your question.
My question is, I'm Aisha from UAE.
Yes.
I want to take Muhammad Salah's personal number. I don't want to be on air. I don't want to discuss my question on air.
Okay. Would you please leave your number and you can call the program later, inshallah, after a few minutes, so Dr. Muhammad Naem Asaee can answer your questions.
Same number can I call?
Or you can write down your question through our email, islamiclawtoday@huda.tv.
No, I have sent so many times my question, but I didn't receive any response from us.
Yeah, give him
so I thought I will talk to Dr. Muhammad Salah directly over the telephone.
Okay, inshallah, you can call Dr. Muhammad Naem Asaee after a few minutes, inshallah. We will be out of the air, inshallah, and he can answer your call.
On the same number, ask whether the same number can I call?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
Okay, we were talking about, okay, unfortunately, we have no more time. So, inshallah, please join us next week, inshallah, at the same time. I would like to thank Dr. Muhammad Naem Asaee for sharing his knowledge with us. And inshallah, we will meet you again next Saturday at the same time. So please wait for us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Which of Allah's favors can we deny? Above all creatures, He chose us to be high. To Him we belong, to Him is our return. Life in this world is only a sojourn. To the angels He commanded that man be respected. Shaitan he did not, and so was he rejected. Compared to the angels, we are but clay. As long as Allah we obey, we'll not go astray. As the best of His creation, only us did He deem. This for us is honor, this high esteem. His qudrat it is that cause winds to blow. He gives us provision so that we may grow.